Hello and welcome to Jack Talk. I'm Breonna Nicole. Today we'll learn more about the OIP and how some international students feel about SFA. Later we'll talk about a member of the biking club, Rascals, and a recap on the stroll-off. Before we start, here's a quick clip to give you more insight on the OIP. OIP, or the Office of International Programs, connects with international students directly by visiting different countries that have college and education fairs. They also use internet virtual fairs to connect with international students.
In studio where I dance, I really met the people who became like my second family, and I'm very happy about that, and I learned a lot.
So some sort of difference, but here they are so helpful, everyone. Even if you ask them, like if you won't understand once, you ask them second time, they won't mind even. They were so ready to help.
I'm really happy to be here. I don't regret to have chosen this university among the other one I could have gone to, and I think the classes are really great because you can choose whatever you want to study.
And now for some more information, we have the Director of the Office of International Programs here with us today. Heather Catton, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I've had the opportunity to meet and speak with a lot of international students, and they just seem so excited to be at SFA. Why do you think they're so excited to be here?
Well, I think SFA and Nacogdoches have a really welcoming community. They really, from what I've seen, they go out of their way to make sure that international students have what they need, that they have resources, that they get the help that they need. And for international students, that's really important because they're in a new place and trying to figure it out. So getting help is the most important thing, and I think we have that here.
So what are some of the ways that the SFA go out of their way to offer them great adjustments to SFA?
Well, I think some of the things we do, we match up international students with American students in our International Friendship Program. So that really gives them the one-on-one help, a fellow student who knows the campus and knows, if they need academic help, where to go, if they need help with the dining hall, the library, anything like that. They have a one-on-one connection for them.
How does SFA connect with other countries to get the international students here at SFA?
We do several things. One of the biggest things is actually having staff from our office visit other countries. We go to college fairs around the world, which is usually where it might be a U.S. State Department office is having a college fair, and they invite students from that country to 1 or 2 days where maybe 50 or 100 colleges from around the U.S. come, and the students can meet with admissions officers from those universities, find out about the university, see if it's a good fit for them. So we try to do those at least 3 times a year in different regions around the world.
Okay. Tell us more about the fairs that y'all visit.
Well, this year actually I went to Taiwan in the fall. I went to 3 different cities in 3 days, so they're really intense, but you get to meet a lot of students. And the good thing about that as well is we usually get to have our alumni, SFA alumni who are from those countries, come and talk to prospective students. So they know someone who's studied there, can share their experience. That's really important as well.
What are some of the requirements for the international students to study at SFA?
Well, besides the regular academic requirements of showing us what their GPA is, showing us that they have a transcript from high school or from a university if they want to get into a graduate program, we also have to make sure that they have adequate English proficiency. So they can show us a TOEFL score, which is kind of the international English exam. And we also require that they show proof of financial support. So we make sure that once they get here that they have adequate support to live and to study.
You're the director of the Office of International Programs, so tell us some things about how the office works to help the international students adjust to living here in Nacogdoches.
Well, once they arrive, we actually meet students at the airport. So that's nice since we're not, close to the airport. We don't want someone to arrive and not know where to go. So we pick them up at the airport, we bring them back to campus. And for 2 days before classes start, we have an orientation for students. So we help them get their IDs, their post office box, make sure they can meet with their advisors to register for classes. And we give them an introduction to SFA, we give them campus tours, make sure they know how to buy books, as everything here is probably different from their home country, so we want to make sure they understand every aspect of living here once they arrive.
I'm sure the Office of International Programs and SFA as well does as much as they can to make sure they're having a great adjustment to living here. But say they want to leave for whatever reason, they miss their family too much, or they just want to go home. What's the steps to getting them home?
Well, once if they decide to no longer be enrolled in classes here, Stephen F. Austin is their sponsor for their immigration. So if they're not attending classes here, they're not legally allowed to stay in the U.S. So pretty much they just have to return home. And we'll help them do that. If they need to get back to the airport, change their tickets or anything, we'll make sure that they can do that to get home.
What advice would you give international students on surviving at SFA?
Just to make as many friends as possible, get out there into the community, and realize that there is a lot of support out there. I know a lot of cultures, they are a little bit different as to how you socialize and meet people, but they just need to understand that they're living in a different culture and people are there to help them no matter what kind of issues they're having.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Heather Cadden visiting with us today. Coming up next, we have Savannah, who will tell us about Nacogdoches Radicals on Bikes is All About. Stay tuned.
And welcome back to Jack Talk. I'm your host, Savannah Fields, and today we are here with Miss Lizzie Alvarado talking about the Nacogdoches Radicals. Hi, Lizzie, how are you?
I'm good.
So what exactly are the Nacogdoches Radicals?
So the Radicals is a group of all-girl bike riders that want to come together, and we go on social rides like once a week. But also we do have different rides that we have guys come on to. It's just more like trying to get the girls to get on bikes, make a little crew.
Okay, and so how did that get started?
Well, me and my roommate Dana have always been really into cycling, and we go with our friends, but we noticed that we're the only girls and we're with all of our guy friends, and so we just came up randomly with this idea of let's strengthen the bike community as a whole by focusing on one part that's lacking. Girls aren't going out there, maybe they are intimidated or something, so if we can kind of facilitate a chill environment, then maybe we can get some more people out there.
Okay, that's cool. So where did the name Radicals actually come from? I think that's a very interesting name.
Yeah, so since it's an all-girls bike crew, we wanted to give it a name that was kind of gritty and stuff because of the irony of it, Yeah. And so Radicals came from, it's a play on words, so it sounds like rascal as well. But Knack Rat is a thing that people say. My friends have a zine called the Knack Rat, and so from that, we came up with Rat Skull, and our logo is this really awesome skull of a rat that has a pink bow on it and lipstick. So we kind of just wanted to give it a grungy name.
So it's like a grungy feel but with a girly twist to
Yeah,
it.
because we're all very girly, but it just kind of like shows that we're, I don't know, more intense.
So actually, when did you guys start the group? Like how long has it been around?
It has been around a little bit over a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'm trying to ask, not what made you guys start it, but like what type of people would you say are involved and how many people are involved in the group?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, every time that we have a ride, it's really varies. Sometimes we'll go on a ride and it'll be just me and Dana, you know, the originals, but we're still gonna do it. But then there's times where we have like 7 or 8 girls, and there will be even like a mom that brings her kid on like his little bike, and it's really fun. We'll let them come. And then we also host bigger events, like we have this thing called Bike Prom, and so we've had 2 so far, and we call anyone that wants to come to get on bikes, dress up, and we all go on like a group bike ride, and we bring music and kind of have a big party. And so we had 30 people at that this past semester, and that was really fun.
And where do you guys normally do the bike proms at?
We usually take a ride. We'll go usually like downtown through campus, and then a little bit down Regay Street. There's this cool place called Deer Park, and we'll go there and we like play music, and then we end up going back to our house and having like a big actual prom after that.
Oh, okay, that's cool. It's really nice. Now, I saw online on tarsands.org that in December of 2012 that the Ratskulls actually participated in a community bike ride that was, I guess, not protesting, but they wanted to change and let people know about the Keystone XL tar sands pipeline.
Yeah.
And how was that experience for the Ratskulls?
Well, I personally have been doing my own activism work with that, and it's an issue that I think is really important, but a lot of people, especially the younger people, don't really know about it. They don't understand. And so also people do have they do want to express that they maybe don't want the pipeline to be happening, but they want to do it in a certain way. So I wanted to kind of make it possible, like, we're going to come together and do a bike ride against the pipeline. All of these people here are here in solidarity, showing that like they want their community to be healthy and sustainable. And so that's kind of like how I came up with it. And it was a really great experience because there was people that, you know, you never met before, and they would be there just to kind of show their opinion, and we were all really unified, so it was cool.
That's cool. So do the Ratskulls get together with any other bike organizations in the community, or?
Well, there's not really a lot of bike organizations, so we kind of just host any type of person that wants to go on a bike. Yeah, the Ratskulls is started off as an all-girls cycling club, and it will always have that to it, but we really welcome anyone that's interested in cycling in any way.
Okay, and what can people learn from being a part of the group?
You could learn about, you know, living in a healthy and sustainable way by riding a bike as an alternative to a car, especially in a small town like Nacogdoches, where, I mean, you can really bike anywhere. And you can also just learning to be open to new experiences and meeting new people that have similar interests.
Okay, so say I didn't know how to ride a bike, could I still be a part of the Ratskulls?
Yes, all of our group rides are, they're really based upon who's there and all of our skill level. It's really, no one's gonna come to the ride and, you know, be like way behind or lost or have to be forced to climb up a hill that they don't wanna do. We love to like challenge ourselves and do that, but we definitely are open to anything.
Okay, and do you guys have any upcoming events this semester?
Yeah, actually, on the last Friday of this month, the 28th of February, we're going to be having a critical mass bike ride, which means that we're just calling anyone and everyone that wants to get on a bike to meet up, and we're going to see how many people we can get on the streets of NAC riding around. So we'll meet at 5 o'clock at Java Jack's parking lot.
Okay, cool. And do you guys do anything else besides just put on the bike prom? Are you guys involved in the community in any other way?
All of us, I think everyone that's in the Ratskulls has their own way of giving back to the community, and we all have that in common. I think that's really what draws people to coming there. But no, we don't have like any particular thing that we all go to together.
Okay, and about the bike proms, how do you guys go about setting those up?
It's just me and Dana, my roommate, who also made the Ratskulls. We basically come up with it in our head, and we make a little poster that they're usually really silly. Our posters, they're like cut up magazines and stuff like that, really like do it yourself, scan them all, take them around, put them up at places. We have a Facebook for the Nacogdoches Rat Schools where we will talk about when the rides are, and we kind of just hype it up for a long time, get people excited, get new people involved, and after word of mouth, it usually comes together.
That is great. I think that's a really great idea, how you came up, like how did you guys come up with the bike prom?
I came up with it it's kind of selfish. I really just, I love riding my bike, and I love, you know, celebrating and putting on a dress and getting all nice, and so I kind of just made what I wanted to happen. I was like, I want my friends to go on a bike ride with me, and then I want us to all like party after, so we just made it happen.
That is so cool. Well, if anyone would like to learn more information about the Nacogdoches Rat Schools, you can contact them at 512-276-0851 or follow them on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Nacogdoches Rat Schools. Coming up next, when was the last time you've been to a stroll off? You won't want to miss it, all right here on Jack Talk. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, Lumberjacks. I'm Brianna Cole, and we're all here to stomp the yard, but what about strolling on the yard? In the studio today, we have Ishmael Herrera, a member of the Sigma Lambda Beta stroll team here at SFA. Thank you for taking some time out to come to here.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let our viewers know something about Sigma Lambda Beta.
Sigma Lambda Beta is a Latino-based fraternity. We're the largest Latino-based fraternity in the nation, and the Phi Delta chapter here at SFA is currently holding the #1 spot in the nation as far as national standards go for the actual fraternity.
So the word on the street is y'all entered the stroll off recently. Tell us about that.
The University of Texas Betas, the Sigma Lambda Beta at UT, they host a stroll off every year called the Purple and White Stroll Off. And it is one of them, if not the biggest stroll off in the state of Texas. We competed this year, and I think we did fairly good. So.
How do stroll offs actually work? Like, what do you do when you enter?
Most stroll offs have a set of rules. Some of them tend to be a little different to others, but the one we attended this weekend, the Purple and White Stroll Off, they gave us 2 rounds, 2.5 minutes, two 2.5 minute rounds. Each organization was going to perform for 2.5 minutes. And then at the end, judges in the audience would choose the winner.
Okay, so they did it kind of like by the crowd going the loudest for each?
The judges take into account how precise and how together we were, and they also take into account how well the crowd reacted to our strolling.
How did the crowd react to y'all's
I
performance?
think the crowd reacted very well to ours. Like I think we did a really, really good job of appealing to the crowd.
Was it a major applause, or were they look surprised in the audience? Was it?
It was mostly screaming, yelling. There was a part where we couldn't really hear the music that well because of the yelling, but it was a good reaction.
How are the stroll offs separated? Are they separated by sexes, female and then male?
On other stroll offs that we've been, they don't separate them by gender, but this one they did. They had it was 5 or 6 teams that were fraternities, and then 8 sororities, and there was pretty much 2 competitions going on at the same time.
Tell us about some of the other sororities and fraternities that were there and how they performed.
There was Sigma Lambda Beta chapters from across Texas, but there was also a lot of, or several organizations from MPHC, from the UT campus, and the women's division there was organizations from UTSA, there was organizations from UT, there was organizations from SFA. There was another sorority here from SFA. Sigma Lambda Gamma also participated in the stroll off.
Tell us about the differences in the way they stroll off between SFA and then other campuses.
The stroll offs that we've participated here at SFA, they tend to be a little bit, I guess, smaller scale because it is usually just inclined for the actual school. So the other ones that we participated, had 3 rounds, So, and there's been a lot less competition. There's been, you know, maybe 4 or 5 organizations competing, to where over here there's 5 or 6 fraternities and 8 sororities.
So how many stroll-offs has your fraternity participated in the past?
Here at SFA, I believe it's been 4. I believe here at SFA 4, and then this is the first time we actually went out to a different school and participated in a stroll-off at somewhere else.
How were the ones that y'all did in the past? Were they similar to the one here at SFA?
They were a little different compared to the one that we did this weekend. You mean? Yes. They were a little different. They were, like I said, a lot they were smaller scale, but just as much as fun.
What does Sigma Lambda Beta do to prepare for these performances?
We usually have, well, first we pretty much make out a new stroll. We don't use strolls that we usually do, like when we go to probates, we go to showcases, we stroll usually, but those are strolls that we have already ready. Those are not the ones we use for stroll-offs. We actually sit down and talk about the music. We talk about what parts of different strolls we're actually going to use in it, and then after that we practice for, if we're together, we'll do it for 2 weeks, maybe a week sometimes, and we'll do 2-3 hours a day until the strolls come out right.
So tell me about the times during practices when y'all aren't together. Who's in charge of getting y'all in line? Do y'all all work together finally? How does it work in practice?
It's usually the stroll master, and it's been different people. I guess this last time for this last stroll, one of our brothers, Esteban, kind of kept us online, making sure we weren't just, you know, all over the place.
So what was the highlight of the performance that night, the stroll off?
Oh, our performance. Oh, okay. So, of our performance, I guess the highlight was there was a part where nobody was expecting it, but we kind of turned down and started twerking, and the crowd just thought that was hilarious. And
I bet.
That was when I couldn't really hear the music because people were being so loud. But that was the highlight of our performance, I guess.
I'm sure that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was.
So did y'all come out triumphant?
Oh, sadly we didn't, but it was a lot of fun performing. Yeah.
Okay, so who won?
The winners of the Purple and White Stroll-Off were the University of Texas Alpha Phi Alpha. Yeah.
Do y'all plan to do many more stroll-offs in the future?
Yes, as soon as they come up. I think here at SFA, I haven't heard of anything coming up recently, but if there is, we almost always participate. We enjoy stroll-offs a lot.
How can the community tune into the events of the fraternity and the stroll-offs that y'all enter?
Well, here at SFA, usually they promote them well in advance, and you can actually go to them. But like, for example, this one, since it's such a large scale and a lot of people actually wanted to see it, they did a live broadcast online, so people from wherever they wanted to could watch the broadcast online and watch all the performances as they were actually happening. Once, I know they edit all the videos and stuff like that, and probably in about a week or so, they're going to post all the videos from the stroll-off and all the performances, and they're on high resolution, high definition, and people can enjoy those like they were there, I guess.
So what else can we expect from Sigma Lambda Beta in the future?
In the near future, I guess, okay. So March 4th, we have a auction benefit with the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Okay.
And we also have our Founders Week. That's
all right, well, thank you very much. That's all the time we have left for today on Jack Talk. Well, before we go, the viewers want to see some strolling off, so Ismail, can you show us something?
Yeah, sure.